Hey everyone, this is Borvak here for another Ramble review of Titans, this time annual number 2. And this is a direct follow up of Titans number 22, I believe. So I apologize, not a lap review this time, a table review, and it might be a little echoey or more echoey than usual. But hopefully the sound quality is still okay. We'll see how it works out. But this is the last issue, the fourth issue. I know it's an annual, but it finalizes the storyline that started with Titans Apart, I believe. So we'll jump right in and see how this is going to go. The Great Brain Robber, the Great Brain Robbery, Cyborg's Assassins, and One Angry Ape. This is mostly fake news, I think. Cheshire was dealt with in the previous issue, and there are no there are no assassins in this particular issue, I don't think, but it's still good. This is a double length issue, but it's about 40 pages ish, about twice the pages of a regular comic. But it's also got a lot of full page images, a double page spread. So it doesn't seem that much longer than a regular comic. So hopefully this video shouldn't take too long. But we'll see. We'll go ahead and jump right in. It's good because you get more awesome artwork that way. But we start up. Mala is talking to the brain about how his intelligence is rising, still up to 90. Does it say percentage? 96%. So he's getting more and more. He's already able to control the weather. He's getting smarter and smarter. And Mala is actually worried about that. He was a part of the plan, but he's not sure how this is going to affect the brain or how it's going to affect his relationship with the brain. What is a guy with 100% intelligence, the intelligence basically of an ultra being, a god? How is such a person going to relate to a mortal like him? We'll jump right in. Is talking about how he was able to control the weather. He's fending off the Justice League. Basically, has them trapped now. Mala's not sure about that. We'll skip ahead a little bit, and we've got a nice double-page spread of Donna Troy and Roy Harper fighting it out with these robots. And they're almost doing a little couples fight where they're having their own little tit for tat, their own conversation while they're fighting stuff off. Roy's here talking about how this is all his fault. He went off on his own and was an idiot, and Donna Troy had to come and save him in the previous issue from Cheshire and her thugs, and now she's going to die with him, basically. And Donna on this, again, single page images, but this is beautiful. From her perspective, she's saying that this is her fault and the fault of the Titans and the Justice League because they didn't believe Troy, or they didn't believe Roy when he said something big was going on. Just some nice images. So they're both kind of blaming themselves for what's going on. He does say here that she's the woman that he loves, and he's basically going to be the reason she dies because she came out here to save him. And she says something similar. She says that she might be in love with him, but she'll never get to tell him, and they'll never get there happily ever after, which is sad. So they're trying to talk. He's trying to say something to her, and he says, "No, wait, I have something to say to you, and look out." And he says, "Oh, that's what you wanted to tell me?" No, of course it's not. But he said, I thought at least if we're gonna die, we're gonna die together. And she says, I kind of always wish we would, Harper. And that's romantic. That's sweet. But just when they're about to die together, Nightwing and the rest of the Titans show up, of course. Nightwing and the Flash, Kid Flash, show up. I don't know what he is now. Is he Kid Flash now? Because there's two Kid Flashes if he is Kid Flash. I don't know. But he's Wally West at least, and Dick Grayson. So they show up. They're helping fight off stuff. They're fighting the bots. Nightwing takes control again. He says, he's telling Wally what to do, be systematic, destroy these bots, and he jiggles through them with his speed powers, speed force. He's tearing them apart. And Roy is actually giving them a hard time. He's such a jerk. Oh my goodness. First of all, he basically sucker punches and beats the crap out of his friends for trying to help him instead of explaining himself and like showing them evidence and leading them to what he was looking for. Even letting them chaperone him and say, "Hey, look, if you're worried about me, come with me." No, he doesn't do that. He beats the crap out of him, and then now he's acting all high and mighty, like, oh, they didn't believe him. Um, but they're kind of apologizing, and Roy is not taking the apology. He's trying to kind of wallow in it. Um, and Donna Troy keeps telling him she's trying to play peacemaker. She's saying, you should listen to them. They're apologizing. Mala and the brain are talking. The brain is getting more and more distant and more cold, more and more divorced or separated from worldly worries or worldly thoughts. Or he's just so smart. He says that the cosmos, he can see the basic building blocks of the universe and he understands them now, but he couldn't explain it to Mala because Mala is not super intelligent enough to understand. But he says, Mala, I've got important things to attend to. You go take care of the vermin, the Titans. So they're fighting off these guys. They're being pretty good about it, doing a good job, doing what Titans do. And they have this ongoing apology thing where Roy is doing his "I told you so" thing, and he's saying Nightwing only helped to show off to the Justice League, and now instead of telling Roy to accept Nightwing's apology, Donna Troy is trying to go from the other side and say, "Hey, Nightwing, can you convince him? What if he's right?" Kind of goading Nightwing into being honest and apologizing instead of just letting it stand. So she's not being hard on Roy. She's also nudging that she's trying to nudge them both together. She's playing peacemaker between the two of them, if that makes any sense. But Nightwing says, no, I came here because we're Titans and because you're my friend. I didn't come here to show off to the Justice League like he needs to anyway. And Roy says, I'll take your apology, but I kicked your butt. First time for everything, says Nightwing. Good comeback. Roy, you did not kick his butt. You sucker punched him by being a jerk and accusing him of being a bad friend for attacking you right before you attacked him back when his guard was down. You're a real jerk. You did not. That was not a fair fight. You even admitted that Nightwing would beat you. Wally says there's something wrong with the Speed Force. Something is happening with basically the building blocks of reality, which we already know the brain can control weather at this point. So he's kind of worried. He rushes on ahead, and there's Mala there. He's worried about the brain, but he's still gonna do what he can to help. So they have a little fight with Mala, and it's really good. They get some banter going back and forth. And they, just a nice fight. Go and read this for yourself. He gives a thwack to Wonder Girl, to Donna Troy, and she just, makes a face and brushes the blood from her mouth because she's an Amazon. You can't just punch an Amazon. And she shows him that, a big watum to the, I don't know where she punches him, but he lands on his back pretty far away. Mala's about ready to give up. He's sad. He says that the brain is no longer, he's so smart. He's calling out for help to the brain, and the brain's not answering. And he says basically the brain, he's now too smart. He's too divorced from reality, from the rest of us. He can't even hear us. So they're walking away and they're saying, hey, we did this together. We're teammates together. And that strikes a chord with Mala, and he says, I used to have friends. I mean, they were both homicidal friends. I don't know if that's a good friend to have, but he misses that camaraderie, and he doesn't have it with the brain anymore. So he's maybe interested in helping the Teen Titans, or not the Teen Titans, the Titans stop the brain now. He says, in order to help the brain, I think I need to stop him at this point because this is not good. He's becoming too smart. He's becoming too estranged from reality. He's going to become a god. Mala says, you see, there's a reason God doesn't talk to us, just like there's a reason we don't talk to bacteria. I disagree with that statement, but that's what he thinks. And then Mala starts, not Mala, the brain just starts warping reality. The room that they're in, everything's bent around and going crazy. Just this vortex of nothing is where it used to be. Everything's floating. Nightwing says, you got to call out to him. Just try. And he doesn't think it'll work, but he says, I just wanted a chance to say goodbye. He's calling out to the brain one last time. And the brain descends. I don't know if he's floating or if he's basically everything else is moving around him at that point. But Mala says, goodbye, I love you, and I'll miss you. And Mala says, and the brain says, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you miss me? I won't miss you. Because apparently becoming super intelligent divorces you from your emotion as well as your human connections, which I don't think that's the same as being a god, but maybe godlike powers, at least in this universe. So that's good. He says, I won't miss you. And Roy says, well, I won't miss you either, brain. And he shoots a trick arrow to the forehead and bip, 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 bip. Fatoom is gonna blow ahead. So that the arrow explodes in the brain's face, and they go flying out, and it's just a panel of white, which is beautiful. Go back to Batwing in the watchtower, and everything's calmed down again, and the Titans are recovering. Mala is cradling the brain. You'll see the brain's eyes are lit up here. And they're all talking about, how they did it. They're celebrating, and, Mala says, don't worry, I'll take care of you. I'll make you better again. But Mala's eyes are turned off right now, so... or the brain, I keep calling him Mala. The brain's eyes are turned off now. They were ignited in the first panel here after the arrow exploded in his face, but now they're extinguished. So Mala's going to be worried about him, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll be back. They're good villains together. From a writer's perspective, which I'm not. They're not good people, obviously. And Nightwing's going to take responsibility. He says, hey, we kind of weren't supposed to be operating as the Titans anymore, but we just did. But we also saved the day, so we got to call the Watchtower and let them know that, we broke their rules, but we also saved the day. We got to take responsibility for what we did. And Jonna Troy says, no, I'm going to do it. Because she's the one who escaped. And she was supposed to be under house arrest, basically. And she broke the rules. She escaped Batman, and she came down to help him. So she says, get Batman on the line. She says, this is Donna Troy. We did it. The Titans did it. And we did it together. And we're going to see probably in the future what Batman thinks about that. I guess these guys are back together again. Titans Apart is over. I don't know if that's what the whole arc was called or if that was just the first story. But they're back together again, hopefully, unless Batman has something to say about that. But it's just like everything else, it's apparently going to continue in No Justice. So I'll have to see if it's too late to pick this up. It comes out every week in May, I guess. So I think they finally talked me into it with all these tie-ins. I don't necessarily like events that encompass everything, but if it's all just tied into this event and the book itself, the Titans book, is going to stay unrelated to this, maybe deal with the after effects, I'm okay with that. So I'll see if it's too late to put it on my pull list. I guess the first issue then is out this Wednesday, depending on when I put up this video. That might be today. Yeah, so good issue. I like this. Again, it ties up everything. Good story, wraps everything up. Just a good action superhero story. So if you like this, go pick it up. Cheshire's Fake News Assassins, fake news. But they're in the previous issue, so go pick those up as well, and you'll get your Cheshire and your Assassins. That's all I have to say. This is a recommend from me. Go pick it up if you like the Titans. You'll be able to tell from this review if you like anything here. You'll like the book, and yeah, that's, I guess, all I have to say. Go pick it up for yourself. We skipped a few pages. You can go read it word for yourself. If you like the video, again, there's still a lot of enjoyment to be had by reading the issue for yourself, I think. And it's extra big too. A lot of good art. Annual number 2. So with that being said, that's the end of my review. Went a little long, but this is a long book. So I tried to be brief, but I'll only be so brief, I guess. There's some stuff I wanted to ramble about really quick. So again, that's the end of the review portion of this video. If you're, I don't know if do you guys like this format? Do you like doing a review and then just talking about whatever comes to mind afterwards, different things that don't necessarily fit in with the review? Let me know if this is a good idea or not. I know it elongates the video, but I do try to keep at least the review portion separate. But anyway, for those of you who are just here for the review, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. For the rest of you, if you want to discuss a few things, what do we have to talk about here? I did want to touch on these two characters, Roy Harper and Donna Troy. Roy says that he's basically going to be the cause of the death of the woman that he loves. If she's the woman that he loves, then what was he doing with Cheshire a few issues back while she was stuck on the watchtower? And is he going to tell her about it? Is he going to tell Donna Troy about that? That's one of the things that started this whole mess. Potentially, it's also, if he hadn't been drugged by Cheshire, he potentially wouldn't have known as much what was going on. But I think he was still tracking it. He still would have figured it out. So I'm not sure anything positive came out about that. And that's, if you're in love with someone else, don't be messing around like that, Roy. This whole, I like Roy Harper. I like Arsenal. But this whole arc has kind of made him look like a jerk. So hopefully he can grow out of that a little bit as time and stories go. He has a hard time forgiving the other Titans too for basically doing nothing but looking out for him. They didn't believe him, sure, but I mean, what if he really had been on drugs? What if he really had relapsed? You can't just believe someone at the expense of what you're seeing and what you're hearing and what's likely to be true, especially when you're worried about someone you care about. So I think this character has a long way to go, a lot to grow. I hope they don't, he really needs to grow up a little bit, and that'd be nice to see them help him mature a little bit. Just kind of flipping through here, see if there's anything else. Just nice shot to the face. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Just Roy, don't make mistakes like that. There's no reason to. Don't do it. Other than that, I guess that's really the only thing. And nothing else comes to mind. Good book. If you guys have any thoughts, tangential. I like talking about the issues, but I like talking about whatever the issue brings up too. There may be tangential issues, philosophical, just random other thoughts that tie into other properties or other things. I like discussing those things. So let me know if you guys have any, tangential thoughts related to the issue or any direct thoughts related to the issue. Let me know what you think. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, anything I skipped or didn't mention that I should have. I know your boy Zach, Diversity in Comics, did a video on this. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. He's a much better YouTuber than I am, if I can even call myself a YouTuber at this point. I haven't watched his video. I saw the headline, and then based on the title of his video, he apparently liked it. So I'm sure everyone who's seen this has seen him. But if for some strange reason you haven't, go watch his video, Diversity in Comics, a review of Titans Annual number 2. Go see what he has to say. You can beat me to it. It might be a little bit until I can get around to it. But he's a great guy, great opinions, very valuable, knows a lot. He doesn't need my compliments. Let me know what you think. Again, leave any thoughts in the comments section. I will stop rambling, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks again. Bye.